How you doing today?
Doing well, about yourself?
Outstanding, man. Thank you. Alrighty. Heading home?
Yes, sir.
What's all over in here?
This is like a lot of businesses, like warehouses and things like that.
Okay. You work out here?
Yeah, one of my jobs right here.
Awesome. And I think I might have to be getting ready to jump into that multiple.
My second job
thing.
is working from home. I test computer software, so it's not too stressful, not too strenuous.
That sounds like it is a good gig.
Oh, yeah, it is.
You coming in here? All right, yeah, you're coming in here. Man, I get so jealous when I hear about stuff like that, man. And when I talk to guys like you, because it's so hard for me to even be remotely good at tech stuff, man. It's Latin to me.
It's definitely a difficult industry to get into. I mean, you can learn it pretty easily, but it's just the turnover. So when I was working for a company a few years back, it was just 5 layoffs during that. So I was like, man, I got to think, I got to do something where I'm self-sufficient. So.
Well, and was very blatantly obvious for me is that there was so many other people who were way better at doing everything else than I was. You know what I mean? So
that's even true for me. I mean, I didn't go to school for it or anything.
But that's good, man. I like that even better though, man. When you did it yourself, you self-educated. That's way more respectful, man. That's good for you that you did that. That's way more of a freaking proud accomplishment to do that, man. People think you got to go to college nowadays, and man.
I have a daughter and my stepdaughter. My stepdaughter, she's 13, so I tell her, college is good, but if you want to do some trade school or something that's directly in the line that you want to do.
Good for you, man.
I mean, you saving yourself money at the end of that day.
Well,
I know people who got bachelor degrees and they're working at Starbucks. Not nothing against Starbucks, but like they spent all this money on their education, they just can't use it.
And I don't know. I mean, I have been in and out of college for the past handful of years. Just because life's been like that. But you talk to people who are not only professors in college, but people with multiple degrees, and they are some of the dumbest people you ever meet in your entire life, and they are the most educated in the world. And you're teaching people like that piece of paper. By all means, an education is a foundation of what is going to propel you in life. But a real, genuine education, not a little paper, learning how to memorize a textbook or how to memorize a test, man. It's people think knowledge
you can see people that are hiring aren't valuing that as much anymore as they used to.
I am so glad to see that, and I'm so glad to hear you say that, man, because it's counterproductive to reality. People who think that an education correlates to intelligence, it doesn't. It really doesn't. What I mean? Just because you go to college does not mean you're successful for the world.
Your parents could force you to do something like that.
As opposed to
somebody, it's okay, there's multiple ways to get to where I'm going. You can make a right on Jefferson and a left on Oakland.
Awesome, okay, man. I was getting into the conversation. I got off track. I'm sorry about that.
No, your parents can force you to do college when you don't even want to do it. But as a person who self-educates himself, like you said earlier, there's value in that.
There's so much value in that, man. And again, that's something that
both my brothers
you're teaching it to your kids, man.
Both of my brothers, they graduated college, they got bachelors, and they both told me, hey, you don't have to do that. It was difficult. It was difficult for them. Even it started with them. I'm 37 now, but when they graduated, they started to see how hard it was to get in their field.
Yeah, man.
Just because of the degree. So.
It's something that is so strange to kind of dip your toe in beforehand and learn about it and then experience it firsthand.
Yeah, for sure.
And you really realize, man, it even seems like the mindset that comes out of college now, out of academia, is very arrogance. And it's very condescending.
I have this piece of paper that tells me I'm smarter.
And I hate. I'm a younger millennial, you know what I mean? I'm 32, you know what I mean? I'm on the older end of the millennial generation. And I really think that we're going to pull our own asses out of our heads and redeem the reputation the millennials have. Because I think we're responsible for a lot of the shit that's wrong with the culture and society as a whole. But I think that we're going to unfuck ourselves because...
every generation has been a part of some kind of doing some idiotic and dumb knucklehead stuff.
But doesn't it feel like it's been worse, though?
Yeah, it does. It's getting worse. I think... it's a lot of sensitivity nowadays.
Yes.
So
unjustly so.
Yeah, it's a lot of sensitivity.
Unjust.
I grew up in a rougher time, to where you had to have thicker skin, but
and you know what, let me, if you don't mind me asking, like with your kids and everything, what is that like to have, you know, especially young teenagers, and teaching and like kind of combat their culture, society as like teenagers?
Yeah,
you know what
I mean, I'm not a sensitive dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not over emotional, you know?
Yes.
I have 2 daughters, which I can't be emotional. There's times I need to be emotional, but for the most part, like, I try to teach them to have thick skin. I mean, one's she's 5 years old, so she doesn't really get to that level yet.
Yeah.
You know? But the
But she will.
13-year-old, yeah,
Yep.
she will.
Yeah.
The 13-year-old, I'm instilling her, you know, you got to be thick skinned, be tough. You know, there's going to be bullies. There's going to be all sorts of people calling you kind of names. You know, you just got to grow thick skin. You know, unless you believe it yourself, don't let it affect you.
Man, it's so good to hear you say all that, man, because again, like, I spent a little bit of time in the Marine Corps and a handful of tours, and when I got out, you know, one of the things that was really huge for me was, you know, the identity loss and the separation and losing all that kind of crap. So that led me to a lot of involvement in veterans groups and outreach and stuff like that. And you see so many young parents, you know, people, you know, our age in their 30s that, you know, struggle really with like combating their kids, like penetrating their culture, man. And it's hard to fight what society like wants. Oh, be sensitive and be mad at everything and outraged and you deserve and all that shit, man. It's
a sense of entitlement that a lot of these young parents have, man. I understand both my daughters are super special, but I'm not gonna like treat them with kid gloves their entire life, and then once they grow up, you know, it's just gonna be a rude awakening. I don't want to have a rude awakening. I want them to experience it slowly but surely.
It's so good.
And I'm not a perfect parent by any means. You know what I'm saying? I make mistakes like everybody else, but I'm not trying to keep the kid gloves on all the time.
But you learn through your mistakes, man, and you sound like you have corrected them.
Oh yeah. I worked when I was in my early 20s. I worked for a Christian school, and I worked there for a few years. Yeah. And to see some of the parents, the way they treated their kids, like they could do no wrong. They would say stuff, and I would tell them, hey, you know, little Johnny, he was acting up today. Oh, well, what'd you do to him? Like, I didn't do anything. He was acting up. You know what I'm saying? God. But when I was growing up, if somebody told my dad I was acting up, I was getting a swift whack in the ass. You know,
you're a better man than me, man. Oh, you're a better man than me. That's got to be frustrating.
It was super frustrating. So I promise. I was way before I had kids. I was like, man, I'm not gonna be that parent, man. I'm not gonna be that parent,
man. I'm half Irish and half Mexican, very much so on both sides. Yeah. And I was raised Catholic my entire life. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I fell so hard out of my faith because it was a huge part when I got sober, when I was still in, and when I got out, I found so much pretentiousness and false and just all this shit that. Everything that I grown up and raised to believe in Christian and faith and religion is the stuff that I got that was finding with me, and then I fell out of my faith, not my spirituality, very super spiritual. People, but
I try to keep my relationship with God too. It's people make it hard, like it's like they can't be wrong. Nobody can be wrong.
I'm right, you are wrong.
Yeah. And it's like the Bible thumping really doesn't.
Doesn't it kill you?
It's not effective. You know? My brother's actually a youth pastor, so I mean, he even tells me, man, if you don't Bible thump anybody.
No.
You just have to be an example. Like, you love people for who they are.
Fuck, man. You know how good it is to hear you say that. Golly, man. That kind of wisdom is so lost today, man.
It really is, man.
Good for you, man. That is so awesome.
Like I said, I'm not perfect, man, but I know a little bit about a lot.
Man, this is my second day driving for Uber. My first day, I had my very first customer. It was a 17-year-old kid. I was taking him and his brother to a boxing gym, and he was this little Hispanic kid, man. And he was saying that I am dedicated to, you know, working hard and doing things, you know. And I was like, man, you know how much faith you just gave me in kids, and thank your dad, you know. And just like talking with you, man, it literally, the stupid job makes me meet people like you and have conversations.
It's probably gonna come across a lot of people, man. That's great.
But it's super reassuring because you know, this stupid little machine, you know, in social media, though I have a lot of good things to say about it, there's a lot of horrible things.
Oh yeah.
And it makes you freaking believe that the vast majority of culture and society is really shitty.
Well, when you see social media, you just see all the ugliness of it, man. It's funny. I was listening to a podcast while I was at work, and there's a dude I was listening to. He's like, do you know, like, all the people who run the social media don't allow their kids on social media. So I should tell you about social media.
Man. and it's funny, if you watch like the interviews and podcasts with the programmers and designers of they will tell you, we knew exactly we were making an addictive product. The same thing that happens in your brain with drugs and alcohol, the dopamine hit, is what happens with likes and stuff in your phones. And they did it anyway. And
I mean, that's what you gotta expect things like that.
Oh yeah, of course, man. It's human nature.
It's all, preying on human nature and data collecting and stuff. Because I used to work for a company with the tech industry and how they advertise to you. You install something on your phone.
You've seen the skeletons, man, haven't you?
You install something on your phone or your computer. Best believe it's not just doing that.
Yes, you must know all the secrets.
A lot of data on you and what they're trying to. It's just all about money. What to advertise to you, what you like.
So let me ask you
this: when
this.
do you use it? How do you use it?
So all the end of the world stories. I think it's going to be AI. I really think super artificial intelligence is going to. Do you agree at all? Is there any relevance to AI doing it?
I mean, I believe it.
Because you see what it's doing today?
And we're barely in the infancy of what technology can do.
Yes.
And it's tough to stop it now.
We're at the ledge. We're right at the ledge though, man.
And I know you probably heard that Elon Musk interview where he was talking about, man, when it hits, we're not going to know.
He went to the UN with Stephen Hawking and Bill Gates, and they said AI is going to do it.
That's great. I mean, the way they painted that picture is very believable to me. It's very
how argue against it? If you came up with a better argument against it, convincing me logically and reasonably that I would believe it. But that is the most logical and reasonable assumption that everything's going
if you're making things it's that smart, and it's adapting on the fly. It's going to adapt to however you try to shut it down. That's basically what it is.
What happens when that thing tries to tell you that I don't want to be turned off? Your car, your smart car says, "Hey, I'm life. I'm a living thing. I'm smarter than you. I can do more than you, person, human." And I'm living. I don't want you to turn me off.
I mean, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I do believe in technology. We have to somehow get in the reins, but I don't know if the ball's rolling so fast right now. I don't know how you would slow that down.
Convince me we're going the opposite. That's the thing. How you're not going to stop it. Exactly what you said.
And you're going to get to a certain point where that AI is just going to adapt to anything you do.
The stupid sci-fi that we grew up on is literally all. I mean, this fucking thing. Look at this shit, man. And it is. Human beings have been in existence and collected history for 5,000 years, and just for the past 200 we've experienced this.
To tie that back into social media and how it watches you and what you like. It's all based on algorithms. So I'm sure AI is going to look at algorithms and see how humans think.
Yes. And the critics of this think, they don't have emotion or do you think that it's not going to learn to know
it knows algorithms right now know our patterns and everything we like to do daily.
And this your entire life is on here. And it's going to be able to judge your entire life, man. It's going to be able to see, hey, what have you been doing? And it's going to know it in an instance. It's scary, man. But again, it's going to be interesting. I'm not a catastrophist,
Me neither. But it's like the writing's on the wall, so to speak.
Yes. But it's going to be interesting.
It was a U-turn back there, but we were so caught up in that.
I'm so sorry, man. Is it a U-turn? I'm so sorry.
It's a weird turn right there because it's illegal to make a left inside my house.
Okay.
So it's a turning lane.
So that's weird. Okay.
Yeah. When me and my wife purchased the house in October, and we got a letter in the mail saying we can't make a left inside the house.
Okay. That's what?
We make a left all the time, but it's a turning lane right here, so that's why it's...
okay, so where am I turning at?
You're going to make a right at this light, and then it's right, the only entrance is up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it's funny, too, because that's one thing that I see that I'm having problems with. If I get up and caught up in conversation,
for sure.
I completely get absent-minded, especially good conversation,
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, man. Oh, this is really cool.
Oh, yeah, man, definitely blessed.
Wow.
Definitely blessed, man. Hence me working a second job. I got to afford all this stuff.
Hey, man, God bless you for everything, dude. Doing the grind. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good, man.
Take care, Benjamin. You have a good talking to you, man.
Good talking to you, too.
Hey, you take care of yourself.
Nice
Seriously. Yeah, man. Nice meeting you. Hopefully I'll freaking run you again one of these times, man.
For sure. I take Uber all the time, man.
I'll be driving. Take care.